So I recently uploaded a video where I, with the help of my friend Dom, played through the Imaginarium Theatre. If that interests you, there will be a card at the top right hand of the video and a link in the description if you want to check out that video after this one. But moving on from that, since I've played the game mode, I thought it would be nice to give my thoughts on the Imaginarium Theatre as a whole. First disclaimer though, I was not able to enter the hard mode during my playthrough due to my account not having enough level 70 pyro, electro or animal characters. This is a problem I'll be working on fixing it in a video coming out soon, so look out for that one. But getting back on topic, because of this limitation, I was forced to play normal mode. As a consequence, my opinions and observations will be coming from the perspective of a normal mode player. Furthermore, I don't believe it's clearly stated that if you partake in hard mode that the difficulty of the enemies increases for each act, or if it's just the number of acts that increase. If it's the latter of the two, I do believe that acts 7 and 8 should be more difficult than their predecessors. For the uninitiated, the Imaginarium Theatre is a newly added game mode in Genshin Impact, where the basic premise is that it's a battle style game mode where you're given 6 trial characters that correspond to 3 out of 7 different elements. You can also use any character on your account as long as they are of those elements and are high enough level for the selected modes. Some of you may be saying, this sounds a lot like Spiral Abyss. But there's a catch to it. For the theater, you can only use a character twice unless you select a card that gives a dead character a vigor, which is this game mode's version of life points. So as you can imagine, these restrictions, instead of promoting vertical investment, which is getting your characters to their peak level of performance like in the Spiral Abyss, it instead promotes horizontal investment, which entails getting a meaningful amount of characters to a high enough level of investment where they do meaningful amount of damage. For all these years, the Genshin community has been asking for endgame, but I always wondered, if they were to add in more endgame, how would they go about doing that while at the same time not making the endgame too difficult to a point where it's harder than the Spiral Abyss, which is already difficult for most late game players as it is. And what they came up with is a very interesting and frankly good when it comes to implementing an endgame. Not only that, but they cater to the more beginner and casual audience with the implementation of easy and normal mode. So the Imaginarium Theatre is a different take on what endgame could be for you. You now have an incentive to actually build more characters. Cause I don't know about you, but I just have a bunch of 4 and 5 stars that I just have not touched and probably wouldn't have touched if it wasn't for this game mode. Now don't get me wrong, it's not like the game mode is forcing you to build these characters. You can always just click a lower tier mode and be content. But you would be missing out on some primo gems. But regardless though, I do believe that this game mode is a step in the right direction for adding more variety in the game and especially the end game. But not only that, it's so much fun because it's not only just a build character and fight game mode, it also has some strategy elements to it. You have to strategically pick what characters you're gonna play, not only on how much vigor they have, but also how strong they are relative to each other. For example, if you have a very strong DPS, a mediocre DPS, 2 very strong supports, 2 mediocre supports, and a weak character, you wouldn't just put all your strong characters in one act and then leave the next act in a state where you can hardly clear it because of the drastic difference in power. You would instead try to balance the power dynamic. For example, you would put the very strong DPS, 2 mediocre supports, and the weak character together in the first act, then the mediocre DPS with the 2 strong supports and the weak character again for the second act. That way the power levels are balanced and there's not a drastic difference in difficulty between each of the acts. That makes sense, right? But anyways, that's all I have to say about the Imaginarium Theatre. If you agree or disagree with any of my points, make sure to leave a comment down below and I'll try responding to them. Oh, and if your quarrels with the Imaginarium Theatre is that it's too hard, then I just have one thing to say to you. Just build more characters, get your existing characters stronger, or just play it smarter. Cause this ain't nothing we ain't used to, you know? You've got this. But anyways, like, subscribe, and comment if you feel so inclined. And I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.
this that training day, but I ain't Denzel. No, I'm bouncing back, even if I'm taking 10 L's. Ayy, this that training day, but I ain't Denzel. Building up my spirit, treat the Bible like